Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of Grant Source Live. Today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Tim Possible. But before we get to Tim, I have to definitely give a shout out to a couple of our sponsors. Vistaprint, if you want to make a presence right away with business cards, flyers, Vistaprint can help you get that done. And they're offering everybody in our community 20% off any purchase. Go directly to our app and you can get that offer in our community offer section. And Newswire, if you want press and you want to get it fast, Newswire has over 10,000 different publications that blast out right away, and they have a special offer for everyone in our community. Just go to the community offer section in the app. So without further ado, again, I'm Alan Thornton, founder and executive director of Grant Source. But today we have Mr. Tim Possible. Tim, how you doing?
Great.
Excellent, excellent. So Tim, his actual name is Tim Connors, and throughout the duration of the show, you will see why they call him Tim Possible. So Tim, where are you originally from?
So I'm from Fulton, New York. I was born here, raised here, same house, same place, school through high school. And yeah, I mean, it's about 8 degrees by my house right now. So nice and cold in the middle of the winter.
Did you say 8?
8, yeah, single digits.
Whew. Yeah, we don't speak cold in Texas, but wow. Okay. Now, Tim, you've done some incredible things throughout the duration of your life. If you could tell our audience, tell us your story, because, and I won't steal the thunder, but you've gone through some trials and tribulations, and let's start there.
So when I was 15, I was a freshman in high school. Thought I knew what was really going on. And April of that year, I would end up going to the hospital. And it turned out I wasn't feeling well. And that day I heard my dad say 3 words I'll never forget. You have cancer.
Ooh.
I mean, everything flew by that day. It was noon. I got there. 2, I was diagnosed. 4 o'clock, I received my first bout of chemo. And if they hadn't acted as fast as they did, I would have suffocated from a tumor the size of a football inside of my chest.
The size of a football?
The size of a football. I played football, and at that point, looking at the screen, being like, that was in me, and we had no idea.
Wow.
And then from there, yeah, I mean, just that was just the beginning, I guess. And it'd be less than 3 months later, at that point, everything's a little issue. It's going to be a big issue. So I go in, had some fuzzies going on in my eyes, thinking I played way too many video games. And we get in, and they're about to send me home when a doctor comes in. They're not sure what's going on. About 48 hours later, I'm getting wheeled away. And when I woke up from surgery, I had no sight. So we're talking going in a Saturday. By Monday night, I wasn't able to see.
So you went in and could see perfectly, and right after that, 100% you lost your sight?
Yeah, and I mean, it was kind of going and getting worse and worse. And I can remember before I got wheeled into surgery, screaming for my mom to come back in. And I didn't have full sight at that point, but I grabbed my mom's face and said, if I'm going to lose my sight completely, I want your beautiful face to be the last thing I may ever see.
Oh, man. Man. Wow. So Tim, after that, and man, I got something in my eye on this show today. Just hearing that story. I mean, that's to most people, to a lot of people. I mean, going in just after cancer and losing your sight, most people would just take that and be absolutely devastated and use that as an excuse. But instead, Tim, you use that as your reason to redefine possible and become Tim Possible.
Yeah, and I mean, as you know, Alan, I had to get a bone marrow transplant because regular chemo treatments weren't working. So high total body radiation. I had heart, lung, kidney failure in the intensive care unit at Boston Children's Hospital. They even announced that I wasn't going to make it to my parents. Of course, I wasn't really coherent at that point, so I don't know about it. By the time I leave the hospital after over a 100-day stay, I can't walk because I've been bedridden so long. I'm not eating, so I'm getting my nutrients through an IV. I have to be in a year of isolation because when you have a bone marrow transplant, your immune system resets. I mean, so much that you have to get your baby shots over again. And at that time, when I left the hospital, I realized that I was going to be a blind person for the rest of my life, living in a sighted world.
Wow. But there's some, even though you went totally blind, there's light in this story and at the end of the tunnel. I mean, one of my favorite quotes, I read a book a while back from Helen Keller, and she said, I'd rather be blind than to have sight without vision. And your vision is truly an inspiration to people all over the world. I mean, tell us about the impact and some of the things you've done. Some things that people with sight that are fully able wouldn't even think of doing. Tell us about some of those accomplishments.
So, I mean, going back to school and, of course, graduating on time at 7th in my class of 287 was big. And then going to college and traveling all over the country with debating and going to programs all over Space Academy in Huntsville, Alabama, the LEAP program at UCLA, doing a trek through the Grand Canyon and having to take 13 and a half hours. But I finally made it out on the Bright Angel Trail. And then deciding I'm going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain in Africa.
Hold on, Kim. Hold on, Tim. So you're, at this point, you are 100% blind. You've beaten cancer. And you want to climb a mountain?
Well, I figured I needed something new in my life. And what started off as me climbing a mountain turned into something so much more.
Wow. I mean, that is phenomenal. That is a story for, I mean, beating cancer, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. And from what I hear, Tim, you're not done. Tell us about, and we want the exclusive. What is Tim going to do next? You climbed a mountain blind, Tim. What are you going to do next?
Well, I thought about some things, maybe, Everest in my future, although my limitations from the medical things have kept that off the radar for now. But my big thing with that mission was we ended up raising tens of thousands of dollars for charities that helped me. We inspired people to redefine what possible meant to them. So we decided, my team, and again, I couldn't have done any of this without them. Shout out to my team, especially our guide, Kevin Sharilla. I'm going to bike across the country now. And my goal, as we say now, is ride across America, reach across the aisle, redefine possible.
Redefine possible. And stop it, Tim. You're telling me, as a former cancer survivor, as somebody that is visually impaired, you're going to bike across the country.
I mean, it'll be on a tandem. I'm not that crazy yet.
I mean, just to do that, that's incredible. That is absolutely phenomenal. And tell us, you have one of the most notable best-selling books. What's the title of that book?
My book is called It's Impossible Until You Do It. And it really centers around that idea that the power to control our lives is in our hands, not our circumstances.
Man, I mean, you're an inspiration to us all, Tim, and we're happy to have you on this Motivation Monday to let people know, things can either be your reason for succeeding or your excuse why you don't, and you make that choice, right?
Exactly.
Incredible. So what can our community do to help you, Tim?
I think the biggest thing is support. Like I've mentioned, a great support network has allowed me to not only overcome cancer and blindness, but to reach the highest summit in Africa, to go on and influence so many individuals and get them to believe that they can do more than they ever believed was possible. So checking out definitely the Tim Possible public figure Facebook page. Check out the documentary, The Climb. It's a mini documentary. Alex, who came with us, did a great job recording and really capturing some key moments. And honestly, just being a part of this, the whole Reach Across the Aisle thing is really centered around we want to bring people together, because all of us working together can achieve so much more than any of us working on our own.
Phenomenal. I mean, Tim, we can't even express, I mean, what this means. This is to have you on the show, the inspiration. I mean, you've spoken to some of the largest audiences all across the country, all across the world. You've beat cancer. You've redefined possible. And, you know, I'm eternally grateful to have you on our show. So thank you, Tim. What is it, and let us know this. I know we met and I had the opportunity to meet Tim down in Houston, Texas, and even was able to give him the award at Presentation Power, and that was very special. Tim, what do you like, and what drew you to Grant Source?
Honestly, I feel like although a lot of people are amazed by all the things I do, at the end of the day, I'm a real person. And I believe what Grant Source does is they make the availability to get grants that they totally can deserve and get a hold of that are out there available for the real person. And I believe at the end of the day, we're all real people and we all should have a real chance at success. I'm very blessed for what I have in my life. And I believe what you're doing allows people to have the blessings they need in their life to go redefine their possible.
So Tim, we're gonna redefine possible, and we're gonna put this out there right now. When you go, we want some live footage, and we're gonna have you back on the show for a testimonial Tuesday. After you, are you doing that this year?
2020.
2020. Okay. Well, we will have you back on the show there, my friend. I appreciate you being on the show. I wanna thank my sponsors, Vistaprint and Newswire. Again, my name is Alan Thornton. I'm the founder and CEO of Grant Source, where we help you find money for your mission. And remember, it's not about the money. It's all about the impact. Thanks again, Tim.